we're focusing in on Indonesia primarily. That's where our most exciting projects are, and there's three potential large-scale potential tier ones in Indonesia.
Hello and welcome back to the Proactive Studio. I'm Tyler Tully, and joining me today is Far East Gold CEO Shane Minier to talk to us about its successful $4 million capital raise to advance its Indonesian exploration activities. Shane, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Tyler.
So let's start with the capital raise. You've got $4 million in the bank. Where are the funds going?
We've got some very hungry projects in Indonesia and Australia. We've got a couple not to be forgotten in Australia, but we're focusing in on Indonesia primarily. That's where our most exciting projects are, and there's three potential large-scale potential tier ones in Indonesia. We've just made that recent acquisition, so some of that funding will be dedicated into that recent acquisition.
So as you've said, you're focusing in on Indonesia and you have 4 projects there. Talk to us, why this jurisdiction?
So Indonesia is close to my heart. A few of us on the board and in upper management are passionate about Indonesia and been working and operating there for many a year in the mining industry. And it is a mining-friendly jurisdiction. There's very good quality of mining engineers and metallurgists and geologists up there. And probably one of the most attractive things, especially for investors, is the all-in sustained costs are so low compared to the West. And you could safely bank on 40 to 50% of the costs of production for an ounce of gold, for example, up in Indonesia. So it's got all of its boxes ticked. It's got its capabilities and it's got its low costs associated with it.
Now, let's get into some of your projects. You're working towards a maiden gold resource at Idenburg. What can you tell us about this and how exploration's progressing?
The Idenburg's a very interesting project, and that's the recent acquisition that I was referring to. We're in the process of bedding down the understanding of Idenburg right now as we speak. It has a plethora of data and information and previous historical work done. And we're taking that information that was done to a third-party internal 2004 JORC standard, never issued, let's be clear. But we're taking that data and we're creating a roadmap, a clear roadmap all the way through to a 2012 JORC. So as we speak, I've got exploration geologists, mapping crew, metallurgists, all at the ready and up on site doing an audit of the core shed, of the assay sample work. And what that's going to do for us, Tyler, is tell us exactly what we have to do to take all of that data and get it to a 2012 compliant maiden JORC. And the way it's shaping up, or certainly the way we hope it's going to shape up, is that there'll be a few holes that we have to drill, twin holes that we have to drill to confirm under JORC auspices, and a number of those assays need to be retested, and we estimate 10 to 15% of those. And once we get to that point, we'll know exactly what the path ahead looks like for that maiden JORC at Idenburg. And
what about your 2 other Indonesian projects?
Interesting projects indeed. There are 3. One of them gets forgotten quite regularly, which is called Wonogiri. Now that's our most advanced project, but also our possibly less interesting. It's a medium-sized gold copper porphyry project, and we're in the process of finalising up some scoping studies and some valuations and so forth, and to take that to the next level and into a partnership environment into production. We have Woyla that most of our investors are very aware of, and we've been drilling up there feverishly for the last almost 2 years, and we've put 133 holes in the ground and just over 20,000 meters of drilling. We hope to continue that exploration there and develop that project accordingly. And then, of course, we've got Trenggalek, and Trenggalek is in Java, as well as Wonogiri. And that is a potential large-scale porphyry system. It's in a great neighbourhood next to the Tujuh Bukit area, geologically speaking, next door, 80 to 100 kilometres away, and also on the same Sunda magmatic arc where all of those beautiful porphyry systems are being observed. So we've got those 4 projects, very hungry projects, and we're going to manage them very carefully to get that value uplift coming back to our investors.
Yeah, so you're clearly progressing on multiple fronts. Can you share with us what kind of news flow can investors look forward to in the next couple of months?
So zeroing in on Idenburg, I think that this is the most exciting for us right now. Of course, we're going to be continuing to advance the other project with Woyla being up there as a high priority without a doubt. But Idenburg now warrants, because it's got a calculation there under those previously mentioned 2004 JORC standards that were done internally. I'll reiterate. That's got a resource of 605,000 ounces with another 160 very near JORC. So we'd like to be able to take those ounces and put them into that 2012 JORC. Now, while we're up there, we might drop a few extra holes and do a little bit of extra work and continue those strike length mapping and increases there as well. So the tenement is 95,000 hectares. There's 14 prospect areas identified. We suspect that there's quite a number of more. So it's up to us now to map and get right across that tenement and get a thorough understanding. And then that's when the news flow will really start to come as we develop that project.
Sounds like really exciting times for the company in Idenburg. Shane, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate the time.